One of the main things that distinguishes the fourth way is how it draws what is most relevant from each of the three traditional ways: the fakir way of physical endurance, the monk way of emotional devotion, and the yogi way of mind meditation. These three traditional ways were designed to help the individual transcend one particular side of themselves: the instinctive moving center, or the emotional center, or the intellectual center, and to do so in the isolated circumstances of a remote location or a monastery or an ashram. Meanwhile, the fourth way is designed to help an individual transcend all of the centers simultaneously, and to do so in the ordinary conditions of daily life. But the fourth way does more than just address all the centers in parallel. It teaches how to circumvent the feeling of identity, the feeling of I, behind all of them. The fourth way also then teaches how to balance and harmonize the centers in a way that aligns them with conscious awareness and enables them to foster the presence of awareness as much as possible. To explain all this, Gurdjieff often used the analogy of a cart and horse and driver to describe how the instinctive moving center, the cart, the emotional center, the horse, and the intellectual center, the driver, are interconnected, and to further describe how they usually interfere with each other, and why they often don't operate smoothly in tandem, and how this wrong work impedes awareness, how it keeps the passenger of awareness in the back seat asleep. Gurdjieff's analogy, which comes from ancient art and literature, is telling because it puts emphasis on the driver, on the intellectual center, which is the ultimate guiding force among the centers. For example, the cart, the instinctive center, and the wheels, the moving center, provide a necessary structure, but by themselves they can't go anywhere. Meanwhile, the horse, the emotional center, provides the main source of energy to make the apparatus move. But an unbridled horse, and even a horse harnessed to a cart without a driver, lacks direction and is unpredictable, even dangerous. It takes a skilled driver, a disciplined intellectual center, with strong reins and an obedient horse, firmly harnessed to a sturdy cart, to take the passenger where he needs to go, which is into the present and through the transformation of self-realization. Although the intellectual center is the slowest of the four centers, it is the center that, under the right circumstances, can govern and guide the other centers in a specific direction toward a specific goal. None of the other centers can do this, partly because of their volatility and partly because of their lack of foresight. It's no accident that the intellectual center is primarily what distinguishes the human being from all other forms of life on earth. It's also not coincidental that no other life form on earth is capable of enabling the self-realization of conscious awareness. This capacity of the intellectual center to guide the other centers also explains why the fourth way system is so intellectually rigorous, and why the system puts so much emphasis on clear thinking, flexible attitudes, a thorough examination of psychological habits, and the scrutinizing of emotional logic, especially the logic behind negative emotions, and why all of these are emphasized not for their own sake, but to help all the centers align with conscious awareness as much as possible. In other words, to help the passenger, the master, the beloved, the Lord, recognize itself and get safely back home to its rightful domain and dimension as conscious awareness. The fourth way system is an elaborate blueprint and bridge designed exactly for this purpose. Yet it can be tempting to get caught up in the system, snared in its details, and to see it as an end in itself. When this happens, you can end up overestimating the driver and horse and cart at the expense of underestimating the fact that the entire system and all so-called work in the fourth way is always really about the passenger, about the presence and conscious self-realization of being.